ईद मुबारक तुमको, ईद मुबारक सबको, ईद मुबारक सारी दुनिया को। ईद मुबारक मुबारक, ईद मुबारक तुमको, ईद मुबारक सबको, ईद मुबारक सारी दुनिया को। ईद मुबारक मुबारक। सजदा किया, चलो हम मिलके जश्न मनाए, ईद का दिन हम मनाए। सबको माफ कर दे, कल मिलकर सबसे हम माफी मांग कर कह दे। ईद मुबारक तुमको, ईद मुबारक सबको, ईद मुबारक सारी दुनिया को। ईद मुबारक मुबारक, ईद मुबारक तुमको, ईद मुबारक सबको, ईद मुबारक सारी दुनिया को। ईद मुबारक मुबारक। खुशी है, सबके दिल में आशा है, सबके घर में रोशनी है। ईद का चांद की रोशनी है, सबके चेहरे पे खुशी है, सबके दिल में आशा है, सबके घर में रोशनी है। ईद का चांद की रोशनी है, चलो हम मिलके जश्न मनाए, ईद का दिन हम मनाए। सबको माफ कर दे, कर मिलकर सबसे हम माफी मांग कर कह दे। ईद मुबारक तुमको, तुमको, ईद मुबारक सबको, सबको, ईद मुबारक सारी दुनिया को। ईद मुबारक मुबारक, ईद मुबारक तुमको, ईद मुबारक सबको, ईद मुबारक सारी दुनिया को। ईद मुबारक मुबारक।
In the calm of a starry night, quiet under a pale moonlight, the sigh of the water close at hand, as I begin to seek your land. Every breath, every breath, every breath says Ali, Ali. Every breath, every breath, every breath says Ali. and far is the shore. My wings are not as strong as before, yet I fly over dark waves below, because in the distance I see a glow. Every breath, every breath, every breath says Ali, Ali. Every breath, every breath, every breath says Ali, Ali. Every cell in my body calls Ali, yearns Ali. Every breath, every breath, every breath says Ali, Ali. Every breath, every breath, every breath says Ali, Ali. Towering cliffs greet me at dawn. I set my eyes upon valleys beyond, and so I have left the tide behind, with your sweet name on my mind. Every breath, every breath, every breath says Ali, Ali. Every breath, every breath, every breath says Ali, Ali.
बरकत वाला मौला अली है, बरकत वाला मौला अली। है रहमत वाला मौला अली, है रहमत वाला मौला अली, है बरकत वाला मौला अली, है बरकत वाला मौला अली। राज नूरानी अली का है, तख्त नूरानी अली का है, राज नूरानी अली का है, तख्त नूरानी अली का नबी की शिफात हम पर है, नबी की शिफात हम पर है। अली की इनायत हम पर है, अली की इनायत हम पर है, नबी की शिफात हम पर है, नबी की शिफात हम पर है। ये नूरे पंजतन पाक है, हमेशा रहने वाला है, ये नूरे पंजतन पाक है, हमेशा रहने वाला है। अमर है ज़ात मौला की, है ऊंची शान मौला की। अली अली दम अली अली, 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 अली अली दम अली अली। हमारा मालिक मौला अली, नूरानी मुर्शिद मौला अली, साहिब दीन है मौला अली, हमारा आका मौला अली। अली अली दम अली अली, 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 अली अली दम अली अली।
Ya Ali Madad, welcome, bienvenue, hosh amedi. A very warm welcome to tonight's Friday night reflections to our Jamaat and multi-faith family members. My name is Malika Kareem Rajan and I'm coming to you from Winnipeg, Manitoba, where we've been enjoying a really nice summer so far. It definitely has made travel restrictions a little easier to tolerate, as we in Canada have such beautiful scenery that we can just hang out in our own backyards. For those who are not aware of Manitoba's beauty, it is the land of 100,000 lakes, meaning we have a lot of beaches to hang out at. Since we last chatted, I have completed my 1,000 piece puzzle. Many of you were asking me about it, and I'm happy to report we are keeping it in the family. My hard work during COVID will be put on display in my nephew's room. At least it didn't go to waste. Our family has also been continuing our video calls. We are blessed to have had a member get married in our family. My husband and I weren't able to attend in person, but we were fortunate to be able to see it via live broadcast, something I feel is a blessing during these unprecedented times. I'm honored to host the program today. We have a special episode to commemorate the occasion of al-Adha, so a very warm Eid Mubarak to you all. We are privileged to have with us tonight the representatives of Jamaati leadership from both Canada and the US as we celebrate together. Now, I hope that you've all had a wonderful week. This has been an exciting week for us as a Jamaat and one of celebration, where after 4 long months, we have seen some of our Jamaat khanas begin to open. I know many of our Jamaati members are looking forward to the day when all of our Jamaat khanas will open, so we can attend congregational prayer and see each other again in person. On that note, I hope you enjoyed your opening segment that we had for you there, where we were able to see some of our beloved Maulana Hazri Imam's Diamond Jubilee visits. I cherish those memories and pray for our continued health as we think about opening our Jamaat khanas. Tonight, we continue with Friday Night Reflections, which is the Jamaat's touch point of the week, our chance to learn more about our faith and ethics, and an opportunity to see and hear from some of our amazing talent in our Jamaat. Here's a list of our programming. We'll start with remarks from Council for Canada President Amir Ali Qasim Laka, followed by special Eid greetings from USA Council President Al-Karim Al-Adha. We will then welcome Al-Wais Dr. Karim Damji, who will remind us about the significance of the festival of Eid al-Adha. Next, we will hear some Jamaati voices in our usual In the Social Hall segment. Then we will hear some amazing musical expressions from Canadian and global artists. And finally, a special treat, an excerpt from a performance by Abida Parveen at the Aga Khan Museum. If you're thinking, wow, so am I, we have quite the lineup set up for tonight. I think there is something for everyone in the show. So just as we've done every Friday, it's time to get your chai ready, for the kiddos perhaps some milk, even a Friday snack, or during these times sometimes an everyday snack. Thank you to my mother for sending us a whole double of nankatai. We appreciate it. The nasto always comes in handy. And now, please help me welcome President Qasim Laka from Canada, as well as special Eid greetings from President Al-Adha from the US.
My dear brothers and sisters, Yali Madad and Eid Mubarak to all of you. Today's reflection is special, not only because of Eid al-Adha, but also because we are joined by our neighbors, our brothers and sisters from across the border. To those of you watching from the United States, welcome. We are honored to have you with us today. In many households across Canada, Friday Night Reflections has become a weekly family ritual, much like Sundays with us in the United States. This evening, we welcome you all as members of our large family. I would like to express our gratitude to the Jamaati leadership in the United States, to President Al-Adha and all the volunteers for the way in which we have worked together throughout the pandemic. There's a long history of collaboration between our Jamaats. This partnership may not always be visible, but it is one which we in Canada hold close to our hearts. Moments like these allow us to strengthen the bonds of brotherhood and sisterhood within our communities. I would like to convey to all families in Canada and the United States our heartfelt Eid Mubarak with prayers for peace, happiness, prosperity, and good health. Eid al-Adha marks one of the greatest trials of faith in the life of Prophet Ibrahim and the Abrahamic tradition. While the nuances of this tradition differ across religious communities, at its core, this festival celebrates our common humanity and the ethical heritage shared by the Muslim, Jewish, and Christian traditions. It is a tradition in which the themes of sacrifice and love for the divine find resonance amongst communities across the globe. We live in challenging times in a world where difference can easily spark discord. But the occasion of Eid reminds us of our oneness under a single Creator, and that the bonds which unite are stronger than the forces which divide. As we reflect on the tradition of sacrifice, I would like to say a few words about the sacrifices that many have made within our Jamaat. At the onset of the pandemic, there was an immediate need to ensure that our Jamaat from coast to coast was safe and healthy. The Jamaat rallied in remarkable ways, delivering groceries and medications, easing isolation with regular check-ins, supporting vulnerable families, and managing the access line. Our volunteers have demonstrated exemplary compassion and care, and we are deeply grateful for this. Members of the Jamaat have contributed in different ways. Throughout the pandemic, the Jamaati Services Fund has been the primary source of financial support for relief efforts in Canada. Our ability to respond to Jamaati needs was made possible by our JSF donors, who have enabled the institutions to react quickly in purchasing protective equipment for volunteers, subsidizing groceries, medications, emergency shelters, and mental health supports, providing skills and employment counseling, creating an infrastructure for the Jamaati access line, delivering digital programming, webinars, the II Canada website and mobile app, and also provisioning for the reopening of Jamaat khanas. These financial contributions are exceptional services which, in the context of a pandemic, have a very special significance in our faith. You know, we all know, the deep spiritual meaning of contributions that are made in times of crisis. All of this has been made possible through your efforts on behalf of the Jamaat institutions and Mukhi Kamriyas. We thank our donors who continue to ensure the strength, the stability, and the well-being of our Jamaat. For those who wish to contribute to meet our evolving needs through the pandemic, you may refer to the Al-Akbar and reach out to our Mukhi Kamriyas and volunteers. This week, we have been privileged and deeply happy to see some Jamaat khanas reopen in Canada, joining several jurisdictions around the world where a cautious and measured approach has, alhamdulillah, met with success. I know that Jamaats in those communities that have not yet reopened are eagerly awaiting the day when they too will be able to attend congregational prayers with our brothers and sisters. It is something I also look forward to when my Jamaat khana reopens. In the coming weeks, as health and safety protocols permit, and in line with provincial directives, we expect more Jamaat khanas to reopen in Canada. A fundamental principle of our faith is the freedom to practice without judgment from anyone but Allah. The Holy Quran reminds us, "Let there be no compulsion in religion." At this time, when the COVID virus remains present, albeit at relatively low levels, this principle is important. All Jamaati members should review their personal circumstances and those of their families and loved ones, and make their own decisions about attendance. Those who are at risk, have a family member at home who is at risk, are above 70 years of age, have underlying health conditions or compromised immune systems, should exercise precaution. The Jamaat institutions, with advice from public health authorities, are taking unprecedented steps to ensure the safety of the Jamaat in Jamaat khana. While knowledge about how the disease is transmitted is still evolving, we will endeavor to meet or exceed public health standards applicable today. I would like to speak to you for a few minutes about the specific public health standards which will govern Jamaat khana attendance in the weeks to come. First, registration is required each time we attend Jamaat khana. This is important for contact tracing purposes, so every Canadian Jamaati member will be required to register online. For elders who require technical support, we request family members to assist them with registration, and our access volunteers are also available to provide support. Registration will also be required to allocate capacity and assign days when we can attend Jamaat Khana, especially in Jamaat Khanas and on days where there are capacity constraints. Let me take a moment to explain this. We are opening Jamaat Khanas in the context of mandatory physical distancing requirements, which will significantly shrink our capacity. Currently, most provinces require 2-meter physical distancing in places of worship. In addition, at present, British Columbia caps attendance at 50 persons, Ontario at 30% of normal capacity, and Quebec at 250 persons. The stricter of these two limitations, because there are two limitations, physical distancing at 2 meters and the provincial attendance cap, will prevail in determining how many people can attend on any given day. So Jamaat Khana capacity, for a few months at least, will not be as it was pre-COVID. Jamaat should only attend if they have been allocated a space and only attend their primary or secondary Jamaat Khana. The system of allocation is intended to be fair and equitable. As an illustration, if I attended yesterday, but you did not attend yesterday, you will be given preference over me today. The allocation system will not be perfect, but it will take into account the provincial regulations we must comply with, each Jamaat Khana's capacity, physical capacity, and the size of the Jamaat. British Columbia will be an extreme. Only 50 people can attend each Jamaat Khana in the morning and 50 people in the evening. It is a large Jamaat, and we can each do the math on how frequently we might attend. This is the reality of public health rules today. If there is capacity available in any Jamaat Khana last minute, it will be opened up. My dear brothers and sisters, we have never been in a situation such as this before. This is an unprecedented circumstance in our generation, where such a registration process is required for Jamaat Khana attendance. But we are a mature Jamaat. We are a responsible community, and we can count on the understanding and discipline that each of us will bring in this situation. As we reopen our Jamaat Khanas after so many months and experience the barakat and blessing that we have been missing for so long, I say to the Jamaat, be generous in your thinking towards others and make accommodation for others' needs and desire to attend Jamaat Khana. There will be bumps along the road as we settle into a new norm for however long it takes. We will need to exercise patience and understanding and keep the safety of our fellow Murids uppermost in our hearts. In summary, I say to the Jamaat, we humbly seek your partnership. We request your magnanimity and consideration. We have to work together as brothers and sisters. Please extend your full cooperation to the volunteers and don't become upset. If you are healthy, consider volunteering. We need more volunteers to manage Jamaat Khanas in this new norm. Never before will the health of a community have rested so heavily on personal and collective responsibility. our efforts will rely on each one of us playing our part. Success will require us to look out for each other to safeguard the Jamaat's health. Our ability to reopen Jamaat khanas and keep them open will be entirely dependent on each of us playing our role in protecting one another from harm. Members of the Jamaat, our reflection next week will be on the future of work and the future of business. We will review some very important career and business issues and direction with the Jamaat, and we request you to join this important discussion next week. Once again, Eid Mubarak, thank you, and Khuda Hafiz.
My brothers and sisters, Yali Madad. From all of us here in the United States to all of you in Canada, Eid Mubarak. I understand that Friday Night Reflections holds a special place in the calendars of the Canadian Jamaat, and I am thankful for the opportunity to share this special moment with you. Though we may be separated by an international boundary, we are nonetheless part of one North American Jamaat. And we in the United States look to you, our brothers and sisters in the North, as members of a larger, extended family. Today, on the occasion of Eid al-Adha, it is fitting that we take a moment to reaffirm these bonds of loyalty and of community which bind us together as one united Jamaat. So again, on behalf of the Jamaat in the United States, I wish to extend to you in Canada our heartfelt Eid Mubarak with best wishes for peace, prosperity, and happiness. Ameen. The current pandemic we are living through has created challenges for many of us. I know that our Jamaat in Canada and in the United States continues to work through these difficulties with characteristic resiliency and ingenuity so that we can fulfill the Imam's vision of emerging as an even stronger and forward-looking global Jamaat. I hope that we can continue in the future to walk side by side with you in this journey. And please know that you have our support alongside all your efforts whenever it is needed. Thank you, Eid Mubarak, and Khuda Hafiz.
Thank you, President Saibs, for your thoughtful messages. What a privilege to have both leadership representatives on today. On a personal note, for myself, Eid is a time for family and friends, for gathering together, eating jalebi and gatia, and enjoying the day together. It's also a time to dress up, so I hope you appreciate the attempt that I made tonight. I don't think I've worn an outfit like this since December Koshali. I hope you're all able to spend some time with family and friends this weekend, even if it is virtually. Joining us next, we are honored to have with us Al-Wais Dr. Karim Damji. Al-Wais Damji currently serves as Mukhi Sahib of Bellerive Jamaat Khana in Edmonton, Alberta. Professionally, Dr. Damji is a professor and chair of the Department of Ophthalmology and Visual Sciences at the University of Alberta. Please help me welcome Al-Wais Dr. Karim Damji.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim and Eid al-Adha Mubarak. May this auspicious occasion bring immense joy and barakah to all of us, to our family members, to our Jamaat, and to all members of the Muslim Ummah. Let us begin tonight by reviewing the beautiful story of Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam. According to the Quran al-Sharif, Surah 37, Prophet Ibrahim was commanded by Allah as a divine trial to sacrifice that which was dearest to him, his own son, Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam. Hazrat Ibrahim explained this vision to his son and he asked, "What do you think?" Hazrat Ismail replied, "My father, do what you are commanded. Allah willing, you will find me steadfast." Both set out to comply with the divine command, but just before the sacrifice was made, God intervened by saying that Nabi Ibrahim had fulfilled his command. In our Muslim tradition, it is believed that Allah replaced Hazrat Ismail with a ram or a lamb. Allah then explains, indeed this was truly a clear test, and we ransomed him with a great sacrifice. Eid al-Adha is therefore also known as the Feast of Sacrifice, Eid al-Qurban. This evening, I would like to share with you 3 reflections on Eid al-Adha. First, how this Eid reminds us of the love, devotion, and sacrifice of Hazrat Ibrahim and Hazrat Ismail. Their purity of faith is so inspiring. Second, that Hazrat Ibrahim, or Abraham, as he is known, is a common ancestor for 3 religions, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. And this provides us with an opportunity to reflect on our common humanity, our shared values, including brotherhood, compassion, service, and concern for the welfare of others. And third, this is an opportune time for us to reflect on our beloved Maulana Hazar Imam's sacrifices, his unconditional love and leadership, his exemplary service to humanity, and to offer our humble shukrana for the grace of continuous guidance and blessings. First, let us reflect on Hazrat Ibrahim's example of faith rooted in love, devotion, and sacrifice. He was born into a society that worshipped idols, and according to the story which is related in the Quran, but also beautifully in our Talim and IIS secondary curricular material, he rejected one after another the star, the moon, the sun as his Lord, because of their transient or temporal nature. Instead, he asserted his faith in one God, and the Quran shows him to be a man of deep conviction. It refers to him as a Hanif, that is, a person of pure faith. The principles that he held close to him led him to confront injustices in his society, including the oppression and marginalization of the poor and the weak by those with power. He became committed to struggle for what he felt was the absolute truth. This is a powerful lesson for us, given the various injustices that also exist today around us. We too can commit to addressing these, inshallah, and to continuing search for truth in all matters, in dunya as well as din. Today provides us with a powerful lens to understand the Quranic notion of sacrifice, of qurbani, and also our role as Muslims, to reflect on how we can draw inspiration at this time and strengthen our faith so that no doubts exist. How can we submit ourselves in unconditional love to the will of our Mawla? The Quran states in Surah 22, Ayat 37, "It is neither their meat nor their blood that reaches Allah, but your piety reaches Him." What is important is our sincerity. What else can we learn from this notion of sacrifice? We can think about the current context and seek to please our Lord through acts of service that are motivated by a desire to seek enlightened self-fulfillment, to seek protection, care, and blessings, to achieve proximity with His Nur. Hazrat Ibrahim was tested, and all of us have been recently tested with the pandemic and with other incidents, perhaps in our lives. We have challenges, and we have had to give up some of the things that are most precious to us, including Jamaat khana, perhaps our livelihood, being with family and friends. But we have also learned more about the spiritual bond that binds us to each other and to our beloved Imam. Inshallah, with patience and perseverance, we will emerge stronger from this challenging period, in keeping with Mawla's cherished desire. Now, having shared some reflections on purity of faith and the importance of pious action, let us consider Hazrat Ibrahim as a central figure for the al-Kitab, that is, the people of the book. This Eid is a reminder to us of what Islam, Christianity, and Judaism have in common: the common ancestor, our common humanity, and our ethical heritage. And this provides the basis for shared values and ethics, what Maulana Hazar Imam refers to as cosmopolitan ethics, that we can use to harness and address today's problems. In Houston, on June 23, 2002, Maulana Hazar Imam said, "The shared destiny of the ethos of the Abrahamic tradition that unites Christians, Jews, and Muslims is governed by the duty of loving care to help nurture each life that is born to its God-given potential." The duty of loving care. If we think of the greatest challenges of our time, poverty, inequities, injustices, challenges posed by medical, scientific, technological advances, environmental degradation and climate change, and if we think of various centrifugal forces that are at play, that Hazar Imam summarized in his Evora speech in 2006, rampant materialism, the new relativism, self-serving individualism, and resurgent tribalism. These are powerful challenges, and yet, inshallah, they can be overcome if we utilize our intellect that is rooted in our heart and soul, and the ethics and values that Hazrat Ibrahim exemplified. And finally, what can we learn from the example and the work of our beloved Imams when it comes to the principle of sacrifice? During Fatimid times, the ceremonies included a ritual sacrifice and the distribution of its offering to the poor and the needy, in addition to distribution of other gifts. Today, Maulana Hazar Imam continues to be concerned about the welfare of others, especially those less fortunate. He works continuously, tirelessly, to build strong institutions and countries of opportunity for the upliftment of the Jamaat, members of the Ummah, and improvement in the quality of life of all people. On this occasion, let us offer our humble shukrana to our beloved Hazar Imam for his infinite grace and mercy. To conclude, Eid al-Adha reminds us of the complete faith of Hazrat Ibrahim and his willingness to make the ultimate sacrifice of his son, Hazrat Ismail, as a mark of his devotion and trust in Allah. As we face our own challenges, let us remember this upright example of a Hanif, and let us also willingly submit ourselves and have complete trust in Allah. Strive to support each other as brothers and sisters and members of a common humanity. We are, after all, one family. Hazar Imam is always with us at all times, praying for us, guiding us, and encouraging us, inshallah, to achieve our full material and spiritual potential. Let us end with a few pledges and prayers. Let us pledge to serve our beloved Mawla in the spirit of selfless sacrifice that he exemplifies. Let us commit to fulfilling the ethical principles of our faith and remain steadfast, working together as a Jamaat to solve societal problems in the spirit of unity, generosity, humility, sacrifice, and forgiveness. Let us pray for Mushkil Asan and pray for the security, stability, and peace of all our brothers and sisters who are living in strife or conflict. Let us pray for the strength of our faith and for spiritual enlightenment to guide us, and also to keep all of our Ruhani members in our thoughts and prayers. May their souls rest in eternal peace. Ameen. Khuda Hafiz.
Thank you so much, Al-Wais. It's time now to hear from you with our segment In the Social Hall. This wonderful part of our programming gives us a chance to hear from our Jamaati members. So let's kick things off with a friend of mine who I actually met in a Jamaat Khana social hall for the first time ever. We were both working as broadcast journalists in Lethbridge, Alberta, and Khane was where we were able to meet. Since then, we have kept in touch virtually and continue our social hall chats on video calls with our partners and friends. Here's Zain Jinnah.
Thank you, Malika. I hope we get to meet again soon in another Canadian city. Yali Madat and welcome to In the Social Hall, everyone. This weekend, we'll be celebrating Eid al-Adha, the Eid of Sacrifice. Jamaat Khanas are slowly reopening, but not in time for all of us to celebrate together in person. So what better time to ask Jamaati members across the country how they plan to celebrate Eid?
We're planning to celebrate Eid by applying mehndi and also maybe like visiting my family members and dressing up and calling them on Zoom.
I will be going to visit my parents and my siblings. They don't live close to me, so yeah, I will be going to their house.
On Saturday, we actually have a Zoom call with our Westport Jamaat khana, and that's going to be great because we miss them a lot, so we're going to be able to see them virtually. And then on Sunday, we're just going to stay at home together here, spend some time.
I will be hanging out with my friends, hopefully. I think we're all going to prep some food separately and come together for a potluck in the evening.
What does this Eid mean to you?
It teaches us that Allah is always watching us at any time, any day, any time.
We have to maybe sacrifice a bad habit or anything that we want to just leave.
We've also been self-reflective, reassessing what's important in our life, what we value in our life. So we're going through that process.
If there are people in my life, either friends or family or within the broader community, where I could be supporting them and taking some of those time and resources and putting it towards them, I just like to use it as a point in my life where I sit and reflect and reevaluate what I can be doing for the people around me.
Do you and your families have any Eid traditions?
We dress up.
Yeah, we also dress up.
Yeah, and we also make like sharbat and biryani or something like that.
Back in our country, we used to like sacrifice animals. Like we used to actually do that and then distribute the meat to the families and relatives. We used to celebrate like that. But now it's different here.
We eat a lot of food and we just like to, when things are normal, bring together the extended family. We like to go around and talk about what's going on in our lives. We spend a lot of time together around Eid, usually the whole weekend. It's not just a one-day thing. We like to really draw it out.
Speaking of food, which is personally my favorite part of any celebration, what is your go-to celebratory food and what will you be eating this Eid?
Two special dishes, it's mantu and qabli palau. So everybody loves those things. Whenever we have a celebration, if it's Eid or anything else, we always make sure we have those things.
This year, I don't know how to make biryani, so there will be no biryani on the table. I'm planning on cooking a giant pot of mac and cheese, and my friends will just have to deal.
My wife, Nasreen, has become quite the baker, so I'm hoping she's going to make something sweet for us. I haven't actually asked for it, but I'm figuring she's going to watch this and she'll get the hint.
Eid celebrations this year are gonna look different, but I don't think that's a reason that people shouldn't celebrate. There's lots of open park space. Hopefully the weather is nice, so even though you're not eating the things you would normally eat or doing the things you normally do, I think even just coming together in a safe way and spending time with your loved ones is a great way to celebrate Eid.
That's an excellent point to think about as we celebrate Eid this weekend. Eid Mubarak to you all, and thank you again for joining me in the social hall. We'll see you again next week.
How wonderful it was to see those faces and hear those voices that we miss hearing so much. Thank you for helping us out this week. And now, before we get into our musical part of the night, here are a few updates to share with you. A reminder that registration to attend Jamaat Khana is underway. This is for all Jamaati members, whether or not your Jamaat Khana is scheduled to open. Please remember that Jamaati members will need to be registered in order to attend Jamaat Khana. Please visit iicanada.org/togetheragain to access registration and for details on Jamaat Khana reopening. For this festive occasion of Eid al-Adha, we will also have a weekend of programming for you to celebrate. Tomorrow, you can access Global Eid programming on Ismaili TV at 8 p.m. Eastern. And on Sunday, our American brothers and sisters will continue with Eid programming with their weekly Sundays with Us program at 5 p.m. Eastern, with more Jamaati voices and musical expressions for you to enjoy. We hope you'll be able to participate. Please also remember that if you have any questions about Jamaati programs or need for any assistance, call the Access line at 1-888-536-3599. Volunteers are there to assist and support you. We're now going to end our programming with expressions from some of our wonderful artists to help refresh and reawaken us, followed by the gifted and one-of-a-kind artist, Abida Parveen. Thank you all for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure to be your host. Eid Mubarak, and we hope to see you again next Friday. Ya Ali Madad.
Everybody loves you, oh, yeah. People go, you're the only one we always wanna call to, no, yeah. You know we really trust you, oh, yeah. Even when we feel alone, close our eyes and we can find you, no. Yeah, we're the people all apart, press play, now we pause again. See my brothers and my sisters and we suffering. We run around, we be stuck up in our little ways. And we look around from inside to see a different place. So I've been wishing, I've been thinking who been covering us. I look above and think the Lord, He gave a blessing for us. Cause He been showing us the way for all that we've overcome. Through all the highs and the lows, taught us how to be one, so I'm saying now more than ever when we need it. Everything you ever do is for a reason. I can't really understand but I can see it. All I know is that it's something I believe in, yeah, it's been some hard weather. You've been through it all before, you make it all better. And we done made it better, open through the dark nights. So I don't think that this is better at the wrong time, yeah. And even when we close in our eyes, you lead us right so close to you. We look up at the birds in the sky, but all our mind is next to you. So tell me you light us through. Something I believe in, yeah. It's been some hard weather. You've been through it all before, you make it all better. And we done made it better, open through the dark nights. So I don't think that this is better at the wrong time, yeah.
Even when we close in our eyes, you lead us right so close to you. Look up at the birds in the sky, but all I got is next to you.
So tell me you light us through. Something I believe in, yeah. It's been some hard weather. You've been through it all before, you make it all better. And we done made it better, open through the dark nights. So I don't think that this is better at the wrong time, yeah. And even when we close in our eyes, you lead us right so close to you. We look up at the birds in the sky, but all our mind is next to you. So tell me you light us through.
عيد قربوناس عيد قربوناس عيد قربوناس عيد قربوناس عيد قربوناس بیا عیدی کنیم عید قربوناس بیا عیدی کنیم و از برایش زیره اخلاص قربانی کنیم و از برایش زیره اخلاص قربانی کنیم عید قربان از بیا عیدی کنیم عید قربان از بیا عیدی کنیم و از برایش زیره اخلاص قربانی کنیم و از برایش زیره اخلاص قربانی کنیم عید قربان است عید قربان است تا که باشد با ایمان و وجدان زندگانی کنیم تا توانیم در کعبه مقصود را پیمایی کنیم تا که باشد با ایمان و وجدان زندگانی کنیم تا توانیم در کعبه مقصود را پیمایی کنیم در این ایام شریف رسم افغانی کنیم اطفال را با عیدی دادن رسم قدیمی کنیم با وطنداران خود مهربانی کنیم بیایید 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 عیدی کنیم رسم افغانی کنیم رسم قدیمی کنیم مهربانی کنیم قربان آمد و کالای نو پوشیده ای دل شده قربان تو از بس که مقبول گشته ای عید قربان آمد و کالای نو پوشیده ای دل شده قربان تو از بس که مقبول گشته ای عید من دیدار تو عیدی من لبخند دوست در میان خوب رویان غنچه گل گشته ای در میان خوب رویان غنچه گل گشته ای عید قربان آمد و کالای نو پوشیده ای دل شده قربان تو از بس که مقبول گشته ای از بس که مقبول گشته ای
Allah made the sky, Allah made the sea, Allah made the sky, Allah made the sea, Allah made everything, Allah made you and me, Allah make us kind, Allah make us caring, Allah make us gentle, Allah make us forgiving. There's so many things I wanna say to you.
Ya Allah, light of the heavens and the earth, you are the last, you are the first. Ya Allah, I always called, you always heard, the Lord of each and every world. Ya Allah,
wise, Allah make us giving,
Allah make us strive for the way we should be living.
You are the one that we seek, Anta Salam, you are the peace, Ya Rahim, the one we need, Ya Allah, and remember me.
Light of the heavens and the earth, you are the last, you are the first, Ya Allah. I always called, you always heard, the Lord of each and every world, Ya Allah.
अव्वल तू, आखिर तू, जाहिर तू, बातिन तू.
खुदायत नूरी ज़मीन और ज़मानी हमें कहकशां तो ज़ेबा फरीदी. शुक्रन लिल्लाह वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, शुक्रन लिल्लाह वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, शुक्रन लिल्लाह वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, शुक्रन लिल्लाह वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह. There's so many things we want to thank you for, Ya Allah.
Ya Allah. Light of the heavens and the earth, you are the last, you are the first,
Ya Allah. I always called, you always heard, the Lord of each and every world, Ya Allah.
We thank you for your love, which is always ever living. Help us to make the most of the blessings we've been given.
Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. You are the one that was, you are the one that is, you are the one that'll always be.
Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim.
Oh Mawla, oh Mawla, Mawla, आज राज मुबारक होवे, आज राज मुबारक होवे, नूर ऐन अलियकुं राज मुबारक होवे, शाह आले नबियकुं राज मुबारक होवे, होवे होवे आज राज
मुबारक होवे। आयाली खूब मजालिस ज़ीनत करके फर्श बिछाई गाली। आन बैठे है तख्त के ऊपर शाह करीम शाह वाली। आज राज मुबारक होवे। आज राज मुबारक होवे। याली दीदार लेने को आए शाह तेरी पाक जमात सारी। सजदा बजा कर नजराना देवे जान अपनी को वारी। आज राज मुबारक होवे। शाह आले नबी को राज मुबारक होवे। याली तेरा नसीबा रोजे अज़ल से देता है रे कमाली। शाह सुल्तान शाह के मुख में से निकला शाह करीम शाह वाली। आज राज मुबारक होवे। याली तेरी मुबारक बादी के सैयद करते मनाजात। शाह नजफ तेरे पुष्ट पनाह तेरे दुश्मन होवे फना। आज राज मुबारक होवे। नूर ऐना अली को